Okay, we're live. Welcome. Hi, live streamers. I have my director of operations in the back, the camera professional, Bonnie Kimball, giving me instructions. Thank you, Bonnie. I love you. And I love you, live streamers. And thank you all for joining us today, this beautiful morning. Don't you love the spring in New England? Wow. Wow. You only appreciate it when you live here in the winter first. Because I came from Florida, and I had shorts every day. I had shorts on every day for over 20 years in November, December, January, still wearing shorts. I'm going, I don't even know what the seasons are like. But when you live here and the spring comes and the things start blooming and everybody's putting these beautiful flowers out, it takes on a whole new experience for you in New England. Yeah. And we have some new people that are here. Welcome. New people that we're happy to have you join us today. And
Wayne and Jill.
What?
Wayne and Jill.
Wayne and Jill, welcome.
Welcome.
And we're happy to have people that haven't been here for a while. What's your name? Maria. Maria's here. And Maria comes from Portland. Linda's here today. Lee comes from Hull, Massachusetts. And Newton.
No, Newton also.
And Newton. Oh, can I hold up Newton?
Yes.
And Newton is with us. I don't know how to make this guy talk, but she does. And am I doing a blasphemous thing here? I'm doing blasphemy on Newton.
It's okay, I forgive you.
That's funny. Lee does the puppet thing, and she's a Course in Miracles teacher, and she's going to do a Course in Miracles with Newton for us sometime soon. We'll set her on the schedule for presenting to you guys and to just, I love the idea. Leslie also does that. Leslie Smith does, not Newton, she does Sammy Snail.
Yes, I've seen her.
Have you seen her?
Yeah.
She's a great ventriloquist. Mm-hmm. She's a great ventriloquist. She's also a great musician. She's a great teacher. She's a medium. She does a lot of great things, Leslie Smith. And we look forward to hearing you and Newton share with us today. When you do. Yeah. So Lisa is in Denmark. If you're watching us, I don't know that you are, but if you're watching us, it's probably in the afternoon over there. And it's going to be Arthur Gay is going to open up today in a few minutes after we do our meet and greet. And we're going to be talking about the body and what that means. And the body, I am a body, I'm not a body. What's that all about? And we're really going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what that means for you. And it's, in my mind, the body, the subject or the topic of the body is probably the most important component of A Course in Miracles. It's to understand and to really get, because it's mentioned over 700 times in just the word alone, just body alone. But in phrases, I mean, it's mentioned well over 1,000 times in the Course. And we're going to talk about that so that you don't just understand it as a concept or intellectually. It is my desire that everyone really has such an integrated and connected experience of what that means, so that you have your own, you're not believing it because Arthur said it or because you read about it or you heard something that I said, but you believe it because you know it as a direct experience. That's where you know that you know. And that's where you can look at the things that are in other teaching, the Bible, and when it doesn't ring true, you can just go, no. And you can feel it. You can feel the visceral experience of knowing the truth because you are the truth and you identify with what you know to be yourself. It's so beautiful. What's going to be shared with you today, I'm going to ask you to just be very present with your open mind and your open heart so that you have the understanding, the openness for the understanding to be seen, to be noticed and also to be experienced. And we're going to mix it up just a little bit. Right now, I'm just going to ask everyone just to, we're going to have a little 3 to 5 minute meditation. I'm just going to invite everyone to just come into this quiet awareness, this quiet presence of being aware of the sounds, the sound of this voice, the sensations that the body has. Maybe you have a tingling happening somewhere in the body, maybe in your face or your head or your feet. And even the sensation where your butt is sitting on the chair, and you feel the sensation of the weight. And just notice that. Notice that sound is being noticed, that sensations are being noticed, sensations of the body. But with the eyes closed, the visual experience is really it's not overshadowing these other more subtle sensations, like the sensations in the skin, or the weight of the body, or what we hear in the auditory sounds. Those are all being noticed. All of those experiences are being noticed. And just rest in this place as pure awareness. Take a deep breath, and also have a breath awareness. Just be aware of the breath. And many have heard in meditations where you have breath awareness meditations. And it's not so much to notice the way you're breathing, although that can be important. Just the noticing of the breath brings you into the experience of being aware. It brings you back to the awareness of the experience. So just rest in this place for a moment. It's in the stillness. There is peace. It's in the quiet that God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And this place, in between the words, in between the thoughts, this is eternal presence. And here, as we abide in this eternal presence, just notice, is there an age in this awareness? Do you notice an age? Or is this where you always feel like you're 10 years old, or 5, or 18? This is where you are timeless. So just notice this. Just note this awareness. In this place, there's no age. And you'll also notice that there's no gender here. And there's no color. There's actually no person present. It's just awareness of the experience. Amen. All right. Thank you all for joining with me in that quiet place of presence, the opening of the heart, the opening of the mind. Thank you for joining us, live streamers. And we're going to have a reading of today's. We usually do the Cafe Gratitude for our reading, and I've just got inspired to just read the beginning of today's workbook lesson, and I've invited Becky Johnson up to share with us today's workbook lesson. Hi, Becky.
Hello, Bill. Thanks.
Becky's going on the Camino with us, and Bonnie is, and Andy is, and Martha is. So,
When are you leaving?
June 4th.
June 4th. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say that on my drive down here, I pretty much knew I was going to read out of the book. I knew I wasn't going to read the lesson. I knew I was going to read the book. I didn't know I was going to read the lesson. I just want to say for anyone who hasn't done the lessons in the book, Lisa offers a class, Bill offers it. There's lots of them out there. Do them. Sign up and do the lessons every day. They're awesome. So our lesson today, it also helps you know what day of the year we're on. We're on day 138. So it's lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make. And I did this lesson this morning, and it's a big lesson in truth and choice. I thought so. That's what I got out of it. So I'm going to read this here. Heaven is the decision I must make. In this world, heaven is a choice, because here we believe there are alternatives to choose between. We think that all things have an opposite, and what we want, we choose. If heaven exists, there must be hell as well. For contradiction is the way we make what we perceive and what we think is real. Creation knows no opposite, but here is opposition part of being real. So heaven really isn't a choice. It's here. Right? That's what I took from it. And I just want to read the last part of it. It's always, I got the CE book. I got the heavy one. I got the Muscle Builder edition here. So every day we have kind of like a meditation to do, and this one here was for at night. So I get to do this tonight. And it says, before we close our eyes and sleep tonight, we reaffirm the choice that we have made each hour in between. And this is what we'll say to ourselves as we go to sleep. Heaven is the decision I must make. I make it now. I will not change my mind, because it's the only thing I want. Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you. I don't know if they changed it in this book, but I used to say
I
heaven.
read the blue book.
Yeah, there's a song that was out that heaven is a decision I must make. Heaven is a decision. Is that from the 12 Great Race? No? I don't know who did that, but it's a great song. I love getting on like a bicycle or some kind of a mechanical thing and just having that run repetitious in my mind. It's really good. Yeah, thank you. And heaven is, the one remaining freedom that we have in this world is our decision for heaven. And it's really no choice at all. It comes into a recognition. It's not a choice. It's just an allowing. It's a relaxing of the mind that thought it was separate, a relaxing of what we're not into the wonderment of what we are. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, we have a lot of people that arrived in between the meditation and the reading, and we have some new people. Please make yourself comfortable for a few minutes. We're going to have a stand-up meet and greet, and we have some new people here, Jill and Wayne, and Maria's here, and James Pugh is in the back. We have a few new people. Make yourself at home, and please greet everyone with a namaste or a hug or I love you. And live streamers will be right back, and I'll introduce Arthur Gay. He's going to be our first presenter today. We'll be right back. It almost actually tomorrow's workbook lesson may be the most important one. Okay, so we're going to get started, everyone. Live streamers, we're back. I can't believe how many people show up between the start and like now. It's like everybody shows up. I mean, when you first start, there's maybe 6 or 8 people in the chairs, and you blink and the room is full. So I'm glad you guys had some intuition to put that extra row of seats in the back. Thank you for doing that. Thank you everyone for being here. today,
We have a whole row up front.
and we're very excited about what we're going to share today. This is such rich content. And Linda was asking me, you know, like, is this like the most important workbook lesson? There's so many that sort of spring off of this. But in my mind, tomorrow's workbook lesson is the most important one. Yeah. Yeah.
No, just
Yeah. It's 139. I will accept. Yeah. I will accept the atonement for myself. Yeah. I think it's.
Oh, that's not as much fun.
I will accept atonement for myself.
That's fine.
Yeah. I will accept atonement for myself. And actually, you're gonna recognize that in some of the content. I think I'm not sure what Arthur's going to say, but I feel like, and what I mentioned before half of the room showed up was to just be present in your open mind. Be very present in your open mind this morning with the just allowing what's going to come in to just be recognized. Just allow that. Allow your open mind to be present, because I feel like the content that's going to be shared this morning is the most important content in the whole course. You're going to, and of course there's hundreds, if not thousands of phrases or ideas or content that's from the course that do the same thing. You know, it's like if you hold this one thought firmly in your mind, this one thought is complete salvation for you. And for you guys that, have a little connection with like Eckhart Tolle, if anybody saw his video where he discusses A Course in Miracles, I love Eckhart Tolle. I love it. I loved it when he showed up with Oprah like 10 years ago on that book, The New Earth. Oh my God. That and her program like burnt Skype that one night, wherever there were, I think over 500,000 people were on Skype, and it fried their system for the first time. And but Eckhart Tolle says when he started talking about A Course in Miracles, I love how he put a non-Christian term and word in place of what the Course says. He says salvation is the same thing as enlightenment. And I like that very much. It is. So this thought held firmly in the mind is complete instead of salvation. This is complete complete enlightenment. I like that. I like that you can. There's words that we can use that give understanding to what's typically a Christian term. And so we're not going to have questions right now. I'm going to introduce our presenter, and when I come up, then I'll take questions. And so I want to invite everyone everyone please give a warm welcome to Arthur Gay. Have you got your mic on?
Not yet. Do you want to hit it?
Yeah, I'll hit it. Hey, baby.
Hello. Am I on? I won't miss it. First, I'd like to say, first off, my name's Arthur Gay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. Bill turns 64 tomorrow. Happy birthday. He's my older brother. We kind of look like we're both married to Lisa's.
Cool.
Can't hear it?
Well, I can, but okay.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, better.
All right. So, I'm going to use some terms today, so I'm just going to explain them. I'm going to use objects of experience. And this is me, this is Arthur, and this is not me, this is you. These represent objects of experience. I'm also going to use the term awareness. It's just another word for consciousness, knowing, or God. You can substitute any word you want. Beautiful Shirley kind of inspired me today. Every once in a while I hear someone say, I am not a body. And my head goes, and then it just says, okay. From the point of view of thought, ego, and all thought is egoic, I am a body is its number one teaching. It's been pounded into us for so long that it's our belief. So what I'm going to present today is an experiment that we can take our belief to, see what the truth is. When we say I am not a body, it can mean two things to the point of view of thought. It can be blasphemy, or it can be just another tool thought uses to veil our awareness. So we need to know where it's coming from, because from the point of view of awareness, consciousness, God, the thought I am a body and the thought I am not a body, neither exist. So I'm sitting here today, I'm talking to you. I'm having an experience. I feel kind of solid, shaved my head today. I'm having an experience. I can't deny experience. An unreal experience, by definition, cannot happen. So what is it? What am I doing? What is experience? So I can ask myself the question, what do I know about experience? Well, all as I know about experience is the knowing of it, my awareness of experience. So what is awareness? If I take a memory, a thought, and go back into the very first experience I've ever had that I can remember, maybe being in the womb, maybe my birth. For this experience to happen, awareness, aware presence, has to be present to witness the experience. It has to be there before the experience can happen. This awareness, our true nature, is the awareness that is aware of these words I'm speaking right now. And this aware presence will be the awareness that is present when this body is laid down. Thought calls it death. This awareness that has been in the background of all my experience hasn't aged. Bill touched on this a little bit. Hasn't changed. Doesn't have agenda. It's just the only stable thing throughout experience that we are. This aware presence. So, for an analogy, at night when I'm sleeping and dreaming, and it's a vivid dream, and all these things are so real and going on, and then I drift back into the waking state of physicalness, and I realize that the content of the dream was made up. It's not real. But the experience of the dream is real. I'm aware that I had a dream. The awareness is our true nature, is love and peace. So I've spent my life here with my attention on the objects of experience. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, perceptions, mind, body, world, not me. All the objects of experience. Because my attention's so absorbed there, I've forgotten about my awareness, which is in the background of all experience, which is our first step to understanding. When I have the will to take my attention off this and just take a look at this, what is awareness? So, I have this belief that I'm a body, that I'm a separate self, and you're not. You ate me. It's been pounded into me so long that our subconscious, it gets seated in there and just rests in there. So how do I take any belief I have and find out what the truth of it is? I can only take it to experience, because all there is experience. We're having an experience now. And the experience now we're having here is the same experience that people online are having. We're having an experience in this empty aware space. The empty aware space at their home is the same aware space. So all as we know is experience. So how do I take a belief into experience to see what the truth is? So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a second and just relax. And I want you to take your memory and your thought and put it over on the shelf for a little while. Let it rest over there. It's been around long enough. Give it a break. Now in this stillness, I want you to take your body into an experience. Just rest in the experience of the body. Don't make it personal. Don't label it. Don't call it Arthur. Don't call it feet and hands and head. Just relax into this experience and see what happens. We're taking the belief that I'm a body to experience. For me, this took a little practice. And it's not always easy to describe, taking the body into experience. But once you've done it, you know you've done it. So in this experience, as I rest in it, what I experience is sensation. It's thought that superimposes the labels onto this sensation, onto experience, and calls it a body. But we put thought off to the side. So now I'm experiencing this sensation. Well, where am I experiencing it? I'm experiencing it right here, right here. It's right here. And as I examine this experience, this sensation, I see and understand that it's suspended in this open, empty space. It's completely surrounded by it. And this open, empty space is our aware presence. This is our knowing. This is God. You guys can open your eyes if you want. So experience tells me that a body is just a sensation. Now I can take any belief I have to experience to see what it truly is. It's thought, the separate self, that superimposes the belief onto experience. This right here. The awareness that completely surrounds this experience is the peace and love that we are. In the beginning for me, meditation was a practice I did. I set up an hour in the morning, an hour at night, and intervals during the day. And I used to think I had to quiet the voices up there, that chatter in the head. And I would just concentrate on the I or the I am thought. Ramana Maharshi taught that it wasn't a thought because it's the truth of who we are. And in that meditation practice, I would get to the point where the thought would still and I would just drift in this aware presence. So if you're struggling with aware presence, just close your eyes and put your hand out. This experience I'm having is completely surrounded by empty space. This is our aware presence. It's so close to us, it touches us. It touches experience. We can't have an experience with without the knowing of it, the awareness of it. Beautiful teaching. So, how do I make it practical? I take my belief into experience. And as I rest in this sensation, I allow myself to drift off into the empty space, this aware presence. I rest in God. And this here is called abiding in the self, abiding in awareness. As I continue this practice, I stay very consistent. Anybody ask me, what do you do? I just say I stay consistent. As we start resting in this quiet stillness, this love that we are, it starts to permeate our experience. It starts to permeate our existence. It starts to move from the background of all experience to the foreground. And the objects of experience start to move to the background. We've started to take away their foundation, their strength. The objects of experience, everything out there, has been the source of my happiness for my life. That was my belief. When I got this, I'd be happy. When I got this relationship, I'd be happy. When I got this job, I'd be happy. The definition of unhappiness is the seeking of happiness. Pretty self-explanatory. So if I'm willing to stop seeking, take my attention off the objects of experience, and just turn it to awareness. Just be aware of being aware. I don't have to do it all the time. But as we consistently practice, what happens is this love quietly and gently permeates our experience. It becomes who we are. And for most of us, it happens so slowly and gently that the mind doesn't even know what's happening. All of a sudden, my experience starts to change. Things that used to bother me don't bother me. I'm much quieter, peaceful. People want to be around you, just to be around you, not even to talk to you. Meditation in the beginning for me was a practice. But what happens is, it's no longer work. It's no longer a doing. It becomes who we are. See, that peace and stillness that we access through meditation is our true nature. It's who we are. We are love. We are peace. It's only that little separate self, that tiny little speck in experience that tells me I'm not love and peace. So as awareness and God starts to reveal the truth, reveal itself to us, and awareness moves to the foreground and the objects of experience move to the background, and we continue abiding in the self. Awareness rises up and shows us that it's all experience, that awareness is all there is, and it knows itself through experience. My favorite analogy is water. Water represents awareness, consciousness, God in this analogy. And it says water only knows itself as water. It's thought that says ocean, river, lake, puddle, teardrop, snowflake. Water knows nothing of these separate entities. But all these separate entities are made up of and consist of water. Water only knows itself as water. Awareness only knows itself as awareness. God only knows itself as God through creation. Awareness through experience. Am I a body? Through this experiment and the consistent practice, awareness has shown itself as its allness, its love. So for a separate self, an object, to appear outside of awareness, to observe awareness, awareness would have to be present for the object to appear. Otherwise, the experience couldn't happen. So there's nothing outside of awareness. Everything is awareness. Now, the practical part. And resting in ourselves. Now, you get to the point where you don't have to be eyes closed to be meditating. We did a little meditation, Lee and I, on the ride up, and I didn't close my eyes driving.
Good.
She says thank you for that. See, it's who we are. It's no longer in the background of our experience. It is now our experience. So now, when things arise, thought, feeling, emotion, perception, they're allowed to arise in this awareness. I don't make them personal. I don't label them. I don't say Arthur's angry. And in truth, all the emotions and feelings that arise are just sensations until thought labels it. As they want to arise, I welcome them. I'm willing to live without whatever the feeling may be forever. I'm indifferent. And what it does is, it arises out of awareness, takes whatever shape or form it wants to take, does its dance, and dissolves back into what it always was, the love that it is. When we get to this practice, and it's no longer practice. See this awareness now? The light is doing all the work for us. We no longer have to do the work. We just abide in ourselves. We rest in this love. That's it. That's all we got to do. We've taken our attention off the objects of experience, and we've become aware. We've become aware of God. We've become aware of ourselves. So now, since there's nothing outside of awareness, just can't be, I am awareness. You are God. From the point of view of thought, that's blasphemy. You can't be God. From awareness's point of view, that's all we can be. So now when I'm stuck in that little separate self called Arthur, and I'm boo-hooing this and that, and I don't feel good, and I don't have enough, and you got more than I have, the universe, which is what I am, and the universe, which takes care of itself and loves itself, gives me my truth, because it takes care of itself. So the little speck within the universe that thinks it's a separate self and thinks it lacks, the universe says, I love you. Here, have your lack. Here, have your pain and suffering. But when my truth is the peace that we are, the universe says, I love you. Here's your peace. Aware presence. We can only be here. When asked, where am I? I'm here. And all as I am is aware. aware presence, sitting here now. Everything else is a thought. Yesterday's a thought. Tomorrow's a thought, except for Bill's birthday. That's real. I no longer try to change the world that the maker of it sees no need to change. There's only self, and there's only love. When I'm coming from love, and the universe takes care of me, this experience I have now has nothing and looks nothing like the experience I used to have. It's like I look the same, I sound the same, but I'm over up here on a different experience. I'm experiencing a different experience. If it's for me, tell them I'll call them back. So I can take any belief into experience to see the truth. I can do it. I can open my eyes and I see experience. It's thought that tells me I see separate bodies, chairs, camera, Lee. Experience is seamless. There's just experience. And all as we know of it is the awareness of it, the knowing of it, the God. And this is who we are. And when you take that little journey from birth to death that we call life, a length of time, and put it to the test, it's just an experience, one of many that awareness experiences. It's not who we are. We don't end. Once that ending leaves, the fear of ending leaves, what a different experience I have. That body goes into whatever it goes into in the ta-da, as Irene would say. What a life, what an experience. Doesn't matter. Aware presence is who we are. The me and the not me is a thought. When I bring this back into experience, thought just becomes a tool for practicality. When something arises, I'm given what I need. And whatever arises is done with, I put the tool away and I just be happy. My only purpose here is to be happy. Nothing else. The world changes from in here. We are the world. And because we are the universe, we are the body. We are the whole body. And I'd like to share 2 lines from The Art of Peace and Happiness by Rupert Spira. He talks a lot about the body. Because thought is housed, we think, in the body. The body is the main housing for all our pain and suffering. The physicalness is the seeker of happiness, the definition of unhappiness. So I'd like to read 2 lines. Rupert Spira, love him, adore him. Francis Lucille, his teacher, same thing. We are right to feel that the body is real, whole and independent. But its reality, wholeness, and independence belong to ourself, not to an apparent object. Our wholeness doesn't belong to this. That's just thought. Our wholeness belongs to this. So yes, I am a body, but I am the body. We are the universe. How cool is that? I was doing some work with somebody a few weeks ago, and he said, when my father was dying, I came to the understanding that everything he worried about was meaningless. It had no purpose. It was a waste of time. All there is experience. But depending on which point of view I come from, it's going to determine the experience I have. Hear the quiet in the room? That's our aware presence. That's who we are. That's where we rest. Let God do the work. We're just present and available for the work. I think that's all I got, Bill.
That was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
That was fantastic.
Now, if I confused you, Bill said he's going to come up and fix everything.
Nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. Arthur, that was such a clear, simple demonstration of what the Course is pointing to. And this way of looking has opened the Course up to me in such a real experience, I have to say. It's just like, I mean, you can take this you take this awareness, and you guys know I've been obsessed with this for at least 10 years, but you can take awareness and you can write light. You are the light of the world. And Jesus was talking about this 2,000 years ago when he said that I am one with the Father and you are one with me. What he was meaning is that all of this is together. None of this is separate. It's all one. And right here, what Arthur was talking about is what the Course would call this the borderland. The borderland of experience is where you no longer consider yourself to be the named identity, the me, but now you're actually, I love the way you described, Arthur, that awareness takes the place, it moves forward, and this moves backwards. It gets absorbed, experience gets absorbed into the knowing of it. And tomorrow's workbook lesson, that's why I thought tomorrow's workbook lesson is so good, because this first paragraph in tomorrow's workbook lesson, 139, I will accept atonement for myself. The first paragraph said, here is the end of choice. For here we come to a decision to accept ourselves as God created us. And what is choice except uncertainty of what we are? There is no doubt that is not rooted here. There is no question but reflects this one. There is no conflict that does not entail the single, simple question, what am I? What am I? And this is so beautiful, this description that Arthur gave us this morning brings us to that experience. It brings us not to the belief, it brings us to the knowing of it, the recognition of it. We're not a me, we're an I. We're awareness itself. We are the light of the world. And the recognition, Jesus says in the Course that enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. And what does the word recognition or recognize mean? Means again and cognize means to know. So we know again what is always known. We know again, as awareness, we know ourselves again as God created us. And the way that you look at it, if you can experience, not believing, we don't want to believe. I used to believe in the Bible. I used to believe the things that I would read, or I would believe a teacher. But if we can know the truth, if we can know what we are by our own experience, not because someone tells us about it, but we have our own knowing of experience, we can only know experience from awareness. We can only be aware of our experience. We can only have memory if we are aware of something that occurred. And this experience, if you're able to move, and when you do, you shift so gently and gradually. And this is what the Holy Spirit does. The Holy Spirit allows us to see no longer as a me and a not me, but it allows us to move into the experience of awareness and having the experience in the person at the same time. It's the borderland of experience where, and that's also forgiveness. When you live in the experience of awareness as the light, all illusions, and you bring the illusion of thought into the experience of awareness, you're doing a quantum forgiveness with that. You notice an upset, you notice a judgment, you notice your peace is disturbed, you notice that something really bothers you, and you gently move to the experience of awareness and let it just marinate right there. Let that object of experience, that sensation, that belief, let it just marinate in the experience of knowing the I am, knowing of what you are in truth. Because you heard what Jesus said here. He says, there is no conflict that does not entail the single simple question, what am I? And this other, the workbook lesson, this was like when I first found the course, I like connected with this workbook lesson 199. I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me. That's what? No, it is. It's 162 this year. Is ACIM 162. I am as God created me. But the thing that I connected with in that workbook lesson 199 was be free today, because it's kind of like something that I use my name recognition with. Bill Free, be free. But in 199, I'm going to read the first paragraph of 199 because it's so connected to the ideas that we're presenting today. I am not a body, I am free. Freedom must be impossible as long as you perceive a body as yourself. The body is a limit. Who would seek for freedom in a body looks for it where it cannot be found. The mind can be made free when it no longer sees itself as in a body, firmly tied to it and sheltered by its presence. If this were the truth, the mind would be vulnerable indeed. And this goes, this is so important. This is the central teaching of the Course, to know the self. Not to believe it because you read it in the scripture or the Course in Miracles or you heard a great speaker say it, but to know thyself. To know that you know. Because when you know that you know, then all of the phenomenal experiences that seem to happen to you as a person, they just dissolve in the light of truth. They just gently dissolve in the light of truth. And I love this analogy as an example of, when you go to an eye doctor and they're testing your eyes for what is the best lens for you, and okay, no, that's not it. Okay, oh yeah, that's good. So this practice of being aware. I used to practice being aware just at a stoplight. I'd just be aware, just present, suspending all judgment of any objects that are occurring. And thoughts would happen. I'd notice a thought. And it's kind of like that. If you practice awareness, you slowly are unveiling the truth, and it gets clearer and clearer and clearer. You begin to unveil the truth of what you are as the Christ, because that's another word you could put up here. You could put Christ right up here as another. I mean, you could put so many, the 1,000 names for God. And I love the example that Arthur gave us, that, it's only thought. It's only the person that would say that I am God that's blasphemous in that only the thought would think that was blasphemous, because we are what God is. We're like, another example would be like the current that's in the ocean is not separate from the ocean, right? So we're just like a current in the ocean of God presence. And we can never be separate from it. And all of our safety lies in the knowing of it and being able to relax and abide into it as it. I don't know about you, but whenever I've been in a place where my peace has been disturbed, I'm in a disagreement with someone, and oh damn it, or I'm gonna tell you, I want to respond to this email, or I'm gonna answer this with the truth. I'm gonna tell this person what I know. That's not true. This is true. It happened to me this morning. I saw some guy was talking about a video that we have on YouTube, and saying that we're talking about Lisa's teaching, and that we're wolves and sheep, or some kind of what's that term? Wolves in wolves in sheep's clothing. And her husband's the same way. And I started writing this email, answering him back. And I went, oh, wait a minute. Pause. And I wasn't being ugly. I was just, I used to be a born again Christian, and I would think at that time, oh, no, that's the devil. That's straight from the pit of hell. And I would, I don't know that I would say what he said, but I was ready to load up the cannon and blow it back with, what I know to be the truth. And then I relaxed into the knowing of the truth. And I didn't want to start, you could feel that energy that wanted to come forth and defend and answer and all of these things. Yes. And if I defend myself, I'm attacked. That verse came in. And what we have available for us is so, as Arthur said, it pervades all experience. Yeah, Arthur wants to add one thing. Yes.
Just because of what you said. As we rest here.
Yeah.
The residue of the separate self, for most of us, takes time to be released.
Yes.
And we just need to allow it to come up.
Yes.
Like you did today.
Yeah.
At first, you make it personal.
Yeah.
And we feel the pain. But once we let go of the personal, that old residue just goes away.
Yes. Yes.
But it takes some time.
Yes.
Be patient.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Perfect. And there was I'm reading from the Purple Book. Most of you know that I'm doing all the workbook lessons. I am recording them in audio this year, and I have them available. My website got kind of messed up. I didn't know how to fix it, so it's not working so well. It's being fixed right now. But I had the link. I have a link to a free download where you can listen to the audios of the workbook lessons and the cameos in the CE edition. And so I'm doing that this year. I'm also reading all the text from the Purple Book. And I came across this beautiful chapter 25, the very first section in the purple book called Framed in Holiness. And it's talking to us as the Christ, as awareness, as the light of the world. And Jesus says, the Christ in you inhabits not a body. It's just what we're talking about here. Inhabits not a body, yet he is in you. And you could say it is in you. He's using male pronouns here, but yet he is in you. And thus must it be that you are not within a body. What is within you cannot be outside, and it is certain that you cannot be apart from what is at the very center of your life. What gives you life cannot be housed in death. No more can you. Christ is within a frame of holiness whose only purpose is that he may be manifest to those who know him not, that he may call to them to come to him and see him where they thought their bodies were. Then will their bodies melt away that they may frame his holiness in them. And as Arthur was talking, I started, and he talked about bringing awareness to the foreground. I started thinking about the melting away. You know, the melting away of our thoughts, our feelings, our perceptions, our beliefs. The melting away of the personal self-identity. And that's what the whole teaching of A Course and all the Eastern traditions too. And to me, A Course in Miracles is such a brilliant teaching. And I have to say that I also got stuck on the Christian terminology. I made it very literal. I didn't make it experiential. I made it, I knew about it. Knew the concepts. And I thought I came from a Bible background, so I would memorize some of the ideas, but until you have a direct experience, until you actually have the experience that you have that's offered in meditation, or what Arthur brought us through, just that brief moment. I used to think of it. I love the analogy of, when was the first? What's your first memory that you have as a person? Well, awareness was right there, and awareness is still there. It's never changed. It's never been. It can't be different from what it always was. And awareness is the only thing that you have that allows you to have memory, is the awareness of that experience. And when you can step into the experience as the light of the world, instead of talking about it as a concept, or talk about the experience of the Christ. I am Christ, complete and healed and whole and shining in the reflection of God's love. We are shining in the reflection of God's love, means that we're the current and the ocean, that we can't be separate from what we are and what created us as itself. And as I'm for my own mantra, many of us in this room are going on the Camino. In my mind, I didn't think about this. It just was we're going to walk for 150 miles. But I'm leaving Bill in Portugal. That's my I feel that the Bill identity is going to stay in Portugal, and symbolically, because all I want to do, I only want to live in the experience of awareness. Because what happens when awareness takes the place, it's sort of like it shifts into what I thought I was into what I know I am, and all experience now is experienced from that place of being. Choices are no longer necessary. We don't need to make choices, because awareness just knows, and knows what to do. And that's why the Course teaches us that when we connect ourselves first to the Holy Spirit. First, we use the Holy Spirit symbolically as a bridge, because at first we need a bridge to get us to the idea that we are what God is. And then the bridge dissolves into the knowing of our own self as God created us. I am as God created me. And as I'm reading, if you guys have a chance to read chapter 25, what I was saying is I'm on chapter 25 in the text. I've started reading all of the text in the CE edition. I thought I was going to do it in 3 months, but I'm doing it a little slower. But when I got to chapter 25 last week, and then Arthur and I decided that we would share together. I love this guy. He's so connected to the greatest teacher that I think the world has right now that's alive is Rupert Spira, and his teacher's Francis Lucille. I like Rupert better because Francis Lucille is French, and I have trouble listening in between the way, his French accent. But Rupert is a great teacher and has opened his clarity, has opened the Course up to me in a whole new way. I love the Course. When I was reading the Course this morning in bed, if you guys that know Lisa, she almost every single day, she'll go upstairs. I do my meditation and my reading downstairs. I'm up usually 30 minutes to an hour ahead of her, and I just sit quiet in awareness. I sit before the sun comes up. If it's still dark in the morning, I just sit in the quiet. I'll sit there for about 15 or 20 minutes and just being present, being in this experience of awareness, just being. And I usually put my hand on my heart, and if thoughts come, I let them just soak in the presence of the light that I am. And then Lisa will come downstairs and she'll make a cup of coffee. We high five, we kiss, or we hug or something as she walks by and gets her coffee, goes back upstairs. And then about an hour later, she'll come downstairs. She goes, I love the Course. I love the Course in Miracles. I mean, it's almost like you could almost play a recording and hear that every day. And this morning, I did what she did. I got my coffee. I got back in bed, and I'm reading the Course. The cats come up, and they're purring and hanging out. And I got out of bed, and all I could think of, I love the Course. I love A Course in Miracles. It's such a great experience. And I would have to say that it's only since I have the experience of knowing what Jesus is pointing to in the Course, a visceral experience of awareness, that it's really come alive for me. I am as God created me is, and what I said in the beginning when I did the meditation, I am as God created me is workbook lesson 94, 110, 162, and 200 to 220. It's like 26 or 7 times in the Course, not to mention 199, which I am not a body, I am free, I am still as God created me. It's the most repeated workbook lesson in A Course in Miracles. It means something. I am as God created me is not a personal me. It's not, and Arthur did a brilliant job of describing how the experience of awareness works. It's pointing you to the I am before experience is put on to the next name. Actually, it even moves even further back. Awareness is like I. It's before an am is put onto it. Like I am Bill, boom, down here. I am, and then direct experience, just be. It's where we cease to speak. God is, and we cease to speak. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. I want to please give Arthur another warm gratitude welcome. And thank you, live streamers, for being with us today. I just appreciate you guys being online. And I think we had about, because we have a new platform, you guys needed to re-register. I saw about 800 of you re-registered. Thank you for doing that. We have about another 3,000 that haven't re-registered. So we'll see you guys when you get online. If everyone would please stand and join hands, we'll have a closing prayer. And if you guys would like to donate to the Teachers of God Foundation, there's a donate button at teachersofgod.org. And we have the love box in the back. We would appreciate you guys supporting us to pay the rent in this place. And thank you all for being with us. Would you like to do the closing prayer?
Sure.
Thank you.
Dear Spirit, with all our grateful hearts for these two beautiful teachers channeling your wisdom, your love, and your light for us today in these amazing, clear translations. And as we take these words in, we assimilate them, and we integrate them, and we then reflect them. They shine out our eyes. They shine out our hearts. And they shine out ourselves into the world. And we see every brother as a reflection of us. Thank you so much. Blessed be. Amen.
Amen. So we have our tithes and our offering. We're going to bless the tithes and offering, everyone. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being with us. You guys, when we're in Portugal, the show goes on. Kelly Russell is going to be our guiding MC, and we're going to have, I think maybe Monica might be able to teach while we're gone, and Arthur is going to do the camera for Bonnie. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, live streamers, for being with us. We love you. Bye-bye.
We love you. I'm going to make an announcement.